This is much better.
Welcome once again, my fellow manipulators of Digital Fate. I'm Richie, this is Capricorn, and today we are back at it with another standard deck tech in Aether Drift Standard. And this deck is absolutely bonkers. This one's called Transit, because we're using Transit Mage to find a very specific 4-drop artifact creature, which allows us to go completely ham with value. And that creature is Brightglass Gearhulk. This deck is insane, guys, being able to search up whatever 1-drops we want, and there's one in particular which is ridiculously valuable in this deck that we're going to point out when we break down the deck. It's just absolutely absurd. Being able to refill your hand constantly with ridiculous value, tutor up whatever you need. It's just bananas. I'm going to break it down in the deck tech for you. Before we do, please like the video. It helps me get it out to so many more people. It helps the channel to grow. Subscribe if you're new so you never miss an upload. Tons of crazy deck techs on the way. And be sure to catch me live Monday through Friday over on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/quarantinecapricorn. Because if I'm alive and I'm breathing, I'm there and I'm streaming. Let's break this thing down. Guys, this deck is absolutely insane. So the core of the deck revolves around a new card called Brightglass Gearhulk, a 4/4 artifact creature construct with first strike and trample for 4 mana in the colors of Selesnya. When it enters, you can search your library for up to 2 artifact, creature, and or enchantment cards with mana value 1 or less, reveal them, and then put them into your hand and then shuffle. We can combine this with some pretty crazy ridiculous synergy in the form of Mockingbird, which technically counts as a 1-drop creature. So we can actually search up, if we want, 2 copies of Mockingbird with a Brightglass Gearhulk, but usually we're going to grab 1 Mockingbird and then maybe 1 other toolbox card. Mockingbird lets us copy any creature on the battlefield as long as we pay an amount of mana equal to however much the mana cost of the creature we're copying is. So, pay 1 blue, pay 3x. This comes in as a flying copy of Brightglass Gearhulk. It still has the first strike, it still has the trample, and it still triggers the enters the battlefield ability. So we can basically chain these together. Every time we copy a Gearhulk, we find another Mockingbird and whatever other 1-drop we want, and we just keep the chain going, and it gets absolutely absurd. But we do need our Gearhulk on the battlefield first before we can start getting that thing going. So how do we make sure we consistently get our Gearhulk? We're also running 4 copies of Transit Mage. 2/2 human wizard for 1 blue and 2. When this creature enters, you may search your library for an artifact card with mana value 4 or 5, reveal it, put it into your hand, and then shuffle. So the idea is, even if we don't have a Brightglass Gearhulk in hand, we can play a Transit Mage on 3 to find one, because technically it is a 4-cost artifact. And then we just on turn 4 play the Gearhulk. So we are incredibly consistently getting a turn 4 Gearhulk pretty much every game. And we're also running 4 copies of Llanowar Elves so that we can power it out that much sooner. If we get Llanowar Elves on 1, we could potentially play Transit Mage on 2. We could get a turn 3 Gearhulk down and then find our Mockingbird, find whatever we want. It's also nice that Llanowar Elves is a 1-drop, so that if we really want to search for it with the Gearhulk, we could. We're not normally going to want to find it because there's better targets, but it is another option if we really need to ramp our mana to get to something a little more expensive, so that's pretty cool. But we have a ton of different things we can find alongside the Mockingbird that we're trying to tutor up. First, we're going to go over the cards that are notable enough to receive multiple copies. We've got 4 copies of Pawpatch Recruit. This is a 1-drop 2/1 with trample. It has Offspring 2. Whenever a creature you control becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control other than that creature. This is just simply the best 1-drop Offspring creature in the game. So we can play it on curve early to just force our opponent to worry about the board state instead of all of the ridiculous card advantage we're going to be playing later. But if we find one of these with a Gearhulk, we can just play it with the Offspring cost, and we can go crazy making a ton of rabbits by finding a bunch of these protecting our board. If they want to kill our Gearhulks, now we're getting a bunch of counters to shoot all over the place. It's just one of the most efficient, most valuable cards in the deck when it comes to sheer card advantage that we can search out with the Brightglass Gearhulk, but that also is not a nothing for us earlier in the game when we're curving out. So Pawpatch Recruit, absolutely insane. We're also going to run 2 copies of Haywire Mite. There is so much artifact ridiculousness running around standard right now, and there's still some residual enchantment ridiculousness running around from Duskmorn, so being able to tutor up a 1-drop that can sack to take out any artifact or enchantment, also gain you some incremental life in the process, is really, really nice. And you got to remember, things like Haywire Mite, Pawpatch Recruit, we can also copy those with the Mockingbird if we want to. So if we're super desperate, maybe we've searched up our last Haywire Mite, but we have to kill multiple artifacts, we could always just pay 1 mana, make our Mockingbird come in as a, 1 mana copy of it, and then we have access to more artifact destruction, which is really nice. We've also got 2 copies of Unable to Scream for 1 blue mana. It is probably the best form of creature removal we have access to for just 1 mana in this deck. It's going to enchant whatever creature we want. That creature is going to lose all abilities, become a base power and toughness 0/2 creature, and if it's face down, it can't be turned face up, which is kind of negligible, but it's a nice little bonus. So a lot of times if we have to stop something really bomby in play, stop it in its tracks, this is going to be the removal that we want to search up, which is why we have 2 copies. We do have singular copies of a bunch of other pieces of removal like Duskrow's Reliquary, and we've got 1 Scrap Compactor, just so that we're covering all of our bases and we have access to as many different ways to remove threats as possible, depending on the situation. But most of the time, Unable to Scream is going to be the best one, so we are running 2 copies of that. We're also running 2 copies of Venerated Rotpriest because it's a really sick alternate win condition, where if we could just get a Rotpriest and a Mockingbird, copy the Rotpriest with our Mockingbird, or maybe copy the Gearhulk so that we get another Rotpriest and another Mockingbird, basically we can potentially go off with multiple copies of Rotpriest really easily by just finding them all and finding things that can copy them, and then just win if they target us. We can get so many Rotpriests out so quickly that it only takes a couple targeted spells of them targeting our creatures with something, and they just die from poison counters. So sometimes if you're up against a control heavy deck, especially a deck that's using specifically targeted removal, you can have a nice alternate win con here where you just search out the Rotpriests, go wide with Rotpriests, and it's like they have to stop your Gearhulks or they're going to smash them in the face and win with damage. But if they try to target the Gearhulks, they just get a bunch of poison counters and then they die from that. So it's kind of a screwed if you do, screwed if you don't situation, which I think is really, really nice. And then we've just got a bunch of one-offs filling in the rest of our toolbox for things to find with the Gearhulk. So we've got 1 Ingenious Prodigy, which we can dump X mana into and get card draw off of every turn if we need to refill our hand. We've got a Marketback Walker. In a similar fashion, this can give us card advantage by drawing us cards when it dies, but it's scalable. So even though we can find this because it technically costs 1 or less, we can play it for however much mana we want, make it a huge relevant creature on the field that can draw us a bunch of cards when it dies. We've got 1 copy of Ghost Vacuum so that we can start dealing with people's graveyards. If they're playing a deck where they care about their graveyard and they need their graveyard, we can start eating it up, which is nice. We've got 1 copy of Skrelv so that we can protect our board. 1 copy of Shard Mage's Rescue so that we can secretly protect our board without our opponent seeing it coming. And then we have 1 copy of Nurturing Pixie because most of the things in this deck get us value when we play it, so being able to return them to hand and replay them is really, really nice. And even though it's expensive, doing that with a Brightglass Gearhulk or a Transit Mage so that we get to tutor all over again is sometimes well worth it. The last 2 cards in the deck are things that we're not necessarily tutoring up with the Gearhulk, but instead they are optional tutor targets for the Transit Mage, even though most of the time we want to find the Gearhulk just because of the sheer card advantage we can get when we do have Gearhulk online. There are going to be certain circumstances that pop up where we desperately need to find an answer in order to not lose the game, and having a couple extra things we can find with Transit Mage kind of fills in that gap super well. So the first of which is a Riptide Gearhulk, which for 5 mana comes down as a 2/5 double strike prowess artifact creature construct, which can be a win condition in and of itself if the conditions are right. But also when it enters, for each opponent, put up to 1 target non-land permanent that player controls into its owner's library, 3rd from the top, which is probably the best type of removal we can have access to. We don't have to worry about exiling something and triggering card draw for our opponent's 𝐻𝐻𝐿𝐾, or, you know, just destroying something outright and then triggering their death triggers, or letting them use their reanimation spells to get it back, or any of that junk. We just put it back into their library, buy us the time that we need to close out the game, and there's no way for them to interact with that card again because it's just gone. So if we're in a pinch and we absolutely need to get rid of something, we can do that. We can also then fetch up additional copies of Mockingbird with our Gearhulks in order to make copies of the Riptide Gearhulk if we need to, and in that way we can get rid of multiple permanents. Sometimes this is really good for getting rid of multiple, like, synthesizers, if our opponent's going wide with synthesizers and that sort of thing. But the other tutor target is meant to take out aggressive board states that have gotten out of hand that we can't keep up with, and that's Unstable Glyphbridge. This is kind of a sweeper, but it's technically an artifact, a 5-mana artifact, so we can search it up with the Transit Mage. So just having 1 copy as a panic button sweeper in the deck seems perfect. When it enters, you choose a power 2 or less creature you control and a power 2 or less creature they control, and destroy everything else. So we even get to keep something. We won't be able to keep a Gearhulk, at least not a Brightglass Gearhulk, but we could theoretically keep a Transit Mage or a Llanowar Elf or a Pawpatch Recruit and still kind of get a head start on rebuilding the board state after we wipe their board completely clean. And that's the deck. The mana base is very specific, so if you're interested in that, definitely check out the deck list in the description. But with all of that out of the way, we just... I'm tripping over my words because I'm so excited, but you guys need to see this deck in action because it's absolutely bonkers. I even have a second version of this deck in mind already that I'm going to be working on. I have a couple more decks coming before we get to that, but we will have a second version of this deck coming because I think Brightglass Gearhulk is absolutely insane, and pairing it with Transit Mage just makes it even more insane, and the deck is bananas. So let's check out the gameplay. Alright, this hand actually looks pretty good. We're going to keep it. We're going to start with a Meticulous Archive on 1. Lush Portico. Well, that is our 4th land. I think we need to keep it. Six of the Boros and Is It Verges? Dang. Alright, so we'll go Portico. Keep you on top. Skrelv. I think we don't get greedy and we just play out the Pawpatch Recruit. Because we definitely have to play the Hedge Maze this turn so that we can play Brightglass Gearhulk next turn. Although, maybe we want to play it when we have 5 mana so we can protect it with Shard Mage's Rescue. Maybe we should have dumped the Scrap Compactor. Nah, I think we got to just go for it. He's got Burn and Bounce, right? So, if he bounces it, it's good for us, and he's going to need a lot of Burn to kill it. So we're going to go Hedge Maze. Doesn't look like he's playing a creature-based deck, so we can dump that. We'll play out the Recruit. And then we'll hold up the Shard Mage's Rescue. Pass the turn. We could have played the Scrap Compactor out instead, but I'm really not worried about it. I think he's trying to play discard. I think this is a monument deck. So we'll just try to draw out some of his removal. Just slow him down a little bit by putting pressure that he has to deal with. in the form of this Pawpatch Recruit. Everything costs 1 less. My turn. Play the Verge. Play the Brightglass Gearhulk. And we're going to find a Mockingbird, and we're going to find our Mite that we can kill the Artist Talent with. So if he doesn't kill the Gearhulk, we get endless streams of value. And if he does kill the Gearhulk, we're still going strong. We got the Haywire Mite, Mockingbird. Mock. Yeah. Do you have bounce, sir? I'm not going to try to Mockingbird the Gearhulk until he's tapped out. Because if he bounces it in response, it's going to be really bad for me. I mean, it wouldn't be like the worst ever. We'd get a flying Pawpatch Recruit. And we get a counter. But it still wouldn't be preferable. We have plenty of other plays, I think, that we can make. Like getting the Haywire Mite out and putting that to good use. In fact, maybe we play the Haywire Mite. And then we use Mockingbird to make a copy of the Haywire Mite. So that we can get rid of both of his things. I think that's what we want to do. We're going to attack first. Let's see what he does. He just takes it. Pay 0. Confirm 0. Let's get rid of the monument. Do you have a response, sir? Three steps ahead. Wow. Okay, well, we'll kill the monument again, I guess. There will be no shenanigans. No shenanigans. None will be had. Go ahead, bounce my stuff back to my hand. See what happens. Alright, then you can hit it with a shock and kill it. That seems pretty good. But I mean, we got another one and a Shard Mage's Rescue ready to go. Take action. Imagine if we had another Haywire Mite. Crazy. I'm getting the excavation because I can. I'm not going to play it. We'll get that out. Hold up the Shard Mage's Rescue. Swing for 3. Man's gonna be very unhappy. Thank you for the counters. Thank you for the counters, sir. Ouchies. 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 We grab a Mockingbird. We'll grab a Pixie. And we will swing. And we will Pixie back the Shard Mage's Aura. And end the turn. So the Rotpriest is an alternate win condition. That's what's up with the Rotpriest. See, what we can do is we can find a Rotpriest and a Mockingbird, play Rotpriest, play Mockingbird, have 2. And if one of them can just manage to survive, we can do it again. If they kill both of them, we just find the second Rotpriest and another Mockingbird. We basically just pile up Rotpriests if we're up against a deck that's got a ton of targeted removal. And then, like, they're just gonna die. Ghost Vacuum. Hedge Maze. Pawpatch Recruit. Keep that on top, I guess. I mean, we could just Riptide Gearhulk this thing. It does seem pretty good. Hold up the Shard Mage's Rescue. Win next turn. Like, if we're up against control and it's really hard to win with our creatures, they just keep killing everything. We grab Rotpriests and we go super wide with Rotpriests. Maybe even just include a third one in the sideboard. Haywire Mite or Nurturing Pixie. Well, we'll make our Marketback Walker bigger. And you are toast, my friend. Alright, this actually looks pretty good. We have a lot of ramp. We can dump this and draw cards if we need to just by chumping. And we've even got some removal, so we could sacrifice our own Marketback Walker to get rid of something and then draw cards. All of that seems good, so we're going to keep this. I think we do play the Thicket first so we can get an elf out right away. And then we'll play the Hedge Maze next turn. Up the beanstalk. Haywire Mite is going to be wonderful in this matchup. Yes, we will keep it. Now we don't even have to search for it. I guess we just do that. Virtue of Persistence, that's fine. You're just delaying the inevitable. No, we don't need any more land. Let's see, we got 3 mana whenever you cast a spell with mana value 5 or greater. So we probably want to use it right away. Right? I did contemplate copying it with the Mockingbird first, but I think I'd rather save it. We don't want him drawing cards. Heaped Harvest, sure. Sure. We'll go Hedge Maze. Dump the Thicket. We've got 5 mana. We could Transit Mage and then play a 1-drop, which we don't really have any. I guess we could Reliquary the Heaped Harvest. And if it's exiled, then he doesn't get to find another land. That might be the way to go. I think it's better to get the Marketback Walker out first, though. But I think that might be greedy. We will find the Brightglass Gearhulk. And then we will play Dusk Rose Reliquary. And my dog is apparently excited about that. And we'll get rid of the Heaped Harvest. And we'll pass the turn. So if he kills the Llanowar Elves, it doesn't really matter now. We've got a Gearhulk, we've got a Mockingbird, we've even got a Walker. So if he stops everything we're trying to do, we can just get some card advantage back with the Walker and then catch back up. Which should be nice. It should be nice. Up your beanstalk. Ooh. Takes out the Dusk Rose Reliquary. Nope, it's got Ward. You ding dong. You ding dong. We'll keep the Transit Mage. We'll play... We'll play you. I guess it doesn't matter, right? We're not going to have a white left over after playing the Gearhulk. So, we definitely want that gone. But we also want something we can do this turn, and I don't know if that's playing the Haywire Mite. Maybe we... Maybe it is playing the Haywire Mite. Yeah. Let's just grab another Mockingbird. And pass the turn. So if he wants to keep his up the beanstalk, he has to get rid of the Haywire Mite now. And if he gets rid of the Haywire Mite now, then he can't get rid of our other stuff probably. So there's definitely value to be had here. I think we'll be okay. Railway Brawler. Sure. Draws a card off of up the beanstalk. We could copy the Railway Brawler with the Mockingbird. Let's do that. It's a 5-drop, right? Yeah. Dope. We've got 1 mana left for this Haywire Mite if we want. I kind of want to be greedy, but I guess we should probably just sacrifice it right now. Right? Alright, pass the turn. Can't swing into the Brawler, unfortunately. And we won't even block it if it swings. Our Brawler's just better. Especially if we make another copy. But I think we might have to make a copy of the Gearhulk. It'll come in as an 8/8 Gearhulk, though. 𝐓𝑑𝐀𝐍𝐒𝐿 Goreclaw. Huh. I guess we have 7 mana. I guess we could copy the 𝐓𝑑𝐀𝐍𝑒𝐿 Goreclaw. Whenever. He doesn't have. I guess he does have reach there. Yeah, I think we just have to keep haste with his stuff. So we're gonna go 5. Copy that. And we'll also play this because why not? Pass the turn. Now, if our guys actually stay alive and we play this Marketback Walker, it is going to have so many counters on it. We're going to basically draw our whole deck. Basically, we will draw our whole deck. ℎ𝐻𝐻𝑒. Oh god. I mean, it's only got Toxic 4. I'm not that worried about it. Go ahead. We play Pawpatch Recruit Offspring and the Marketback Walker for 4. That seems fine. Give me all the counters, baby. 12, 17 in the air. He does have a blocker, though. If he blocks 2 creatures... If he blocks the Railway Brawler and lets 𝐓𝑑𝐀𝐍𝑒𝐿 through, and then blocks, say, our 6/5, he's going to take 12, 22... Yeah, he's just dead. If he blocks...
Now I have a machine gun.
The 𝐓𝑑𝐀𝐍𝑒𝐿, it's got trample. Yeah, we just win. We just win, right? I'm pretty sure we just win. The whole time I'm thinking, how do we hang back and trade with his Tyrannax Rex, with the Marketback Walker and something else, so that we draw a bunch of cards when it dies, and then I'm like, wait a minute. We just have lethal. We just have lethal. Seems good. Seems good. I'll take it. I will take that win, baby. We got a Brightglass Gearhulk. We don't have anything else we want. We'll still keep it. Let's see if we can draw into some stuff we can do in the meantime. Let's see. Green, white, green, white. Let's hide our blue for now. Pass the turn. Are we going to win with poison? This is going to feel so bad. Nowhere to run. Oh, we can't even protect that with fucking hexproof, bro. It's pretty sad. Not gonna lie. But we've got Gearhulk next turn. Bandit's Talent. We'll get rid of the Glyphbridge. The Gearhulk is in play. We are definitely finding a Mockingbird. The question is, what else do we find? What's good against discard? Card draw? Ingenious Prodigy, maybe? Pawpatch Recruit to protect against targeting? Maybe Dusk Rose Reliquary so that we can eat that Bandit's Talent. I'm going to take the Prodigy. If he kills our Brightglass Gearhulk, we need another way to start gassing up. And that's one less removal spell that he will have in his hand. It's going to make us discard another card. That's fine. We'll get rid of the Skrelv. Another Transit Mage. Is it better to just Transit Mage and find another Gearhulk? And then hold up our Shard Mage's Rescue? Well, I guess the Shard Mage's Rescue doesn't matter because of the nowhere to run. So we should probably just try to use the Mockingbird while we can. So X is 3. Copy the Gearhulk. We'll find another Mockingbird. And we got to get rid of that Bandit's Talent, I think. Or we could just draw a bunch of cards, right? That's another thing we could do. We'll just try and race him out. He's running out of cards. We've got crazy beef on the ground. We keep refilling our hand to outpace the Bandit's Talent, so I'm not even worried about it. Shelter by Ghost, sure. That might actually be a good thing for us. We kill the Pixie, we get the trigger again. Why are you attacking? Did he forget that it flew? Did he forget that it flew? What do you even, what? Bro forgot that, we fly. Do we copy the Pawpatch Recruit? I think maybe we do. It does mean we can't do any of the bouncing anymore. but I think we just win with our board, right? I guess unless he has a sweeper. But we just Transit Mage for another Gearhulk. Whatever. We're just too wide for him. Yeah, I think he's gone. I think we scared him away, guys. Oh, God. I think we scared him away. Hello? Hello? Are you there? I think he's gone. I think our mans has left the building. That's what salt does to you. Oh hey, another Mockingbird. This man is unhappy. If you've got instant speed removal, use it now, or I'm going to get even more counters. This man's is toast. If he kills our Gearhulk, we get to put 3 counters on something. We still swing for 12. If he kills the other Gearhulk, we get to put another 3. Yeah, it's just over. It's just over, man. What a card. This is a keeper. We got the Elves. We've got Pawpatch Recruits to sort of stave off the craziness. Swift Spear. I mean, if we play out the elf, he probably just kills the elf, right? I guess we can try, though. At least it would slow him down a bit. White makes green. So I guess we'll go like this. And this. We archive to turn on the white, hold up Shard Mage's Rescue, and then next turn play the Gearhulk. Hello, sir. Yeah, we will keep you. If we can just get the Gearhulk down, we pretty much just win, right? Hold up Shard Mage's Rescue. He's gonna have to Lightning Strike. There will be none of that. There will be none of that. Swing. Gearhulk. Oh, they definitely scooping. What's best against mono red here? Unable to scream. Another Pawpatch Recruit. Honestly, maybe just Pixie. Pick up the Shard Mage's Rescue. And have another body. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Good night. Easy wins. Sand looks pretty good. We have a Llanowar Elves on 1. We've got a bunch of land. Well, I guess we don't have it on 1 because it's all tapped land. So we are going to be behind a little bit. But we do have our Gearhulk as well. So we're going to keep this. I guess we'll probably start with the Lush Portico to make sure we have access to our green. We'll keep the Gearhulk. We'll keep it. It might take us longer to get there than I'd like. But that should be okay. We'll go green-blue. I guess we keep the Transit Mage because we can play that next turn because of the Llanowar Elf. Yeah, that makes sense. Aw, he anointed it. Lame. Maybe we'll just go for the optional Rotpriest win. We could double Rotpriest right now. Another Gearhulk? Okay, well, we gotta keep it, right? We absolutely gotta keep it. Gotta keep it. What's going on with my opponent? Okay. You got rid of my Rotpriest. We're just getting all of his removal out of his hand. And then it's going to get even more gross when we have the Gearhulk. Let's see. We have double white. We probably need a white, to be honest. And we'll play Transit Mage. And the question is, do we find our last Gearhulk? Or do we find a Riptide? Screw it. I'm going super deep. All 4 Gearhulks, guys. All 4 Gearhulks. We're doing it. We'll swing in 1. And we will just overwhelm with value. Here we go. Ouch. Do we have... We don't have a basic. Well, that screws us. Dude, this dude's whole deck is just removal. What is he doing? Cornucopia. Cornucopium. Swing 1. The Gearhulks cometh. The Gearhulks cometh for sure. Bitter Triumph. Oof. Double Cornucopia. Well, we can Hedge Maze. He's holding up 3 mana. So he might have a counterspell. Without counter spells, we just have so much value, it's insane. So we definitely want Mockingbird. I think we also want Shard Mage's Rescue, so that next turn, well, I guess we can't really hold up the Shard Mage's Rescue and play the Gearhulk in the same turn, right? Because we need another white source, and he destroyed our third white source. So this won't be as useful right now, but that's okay. We're just going to keep playing Gearhulks. We'll need it eventually, and we can just find whatever we would have found off of the last Gearhulk with this Gearhulk, which is fine. Let's go Skrelv, and then maybe something that we can play right now. You know what? Let's find a Haywire Mite. Let's get the Haywire Mite down so that we can get rid of these cornucopias. You don't need those. Those are no good. Deadly Cover-Up. So he's going to hit all of my Gearhulks, probably. Oh, he hits my Mockingbirds. Interesting. I don't know why you would do that specifically. We're going to play Skrelv. And then we are going to offspring out a Pawpatch Recruit. We're going to get all of the things out that allow us to get value every time he targets, or just stops him from killing something like Skrelv. And just make all of his targeted removal like really bad. Uh-oh, now he's going to hit our Gearhulk, right? Or did he not have enough to exile? I didn't see if he collected evidence or not. Oh, he did. Gearhulks. Well, now we might have a problem. Now we might have a problem. Let's see, we got 6 mana. We will Transit Mage. We will grab a Riptide. And then we will Pawpatch Recruit and Offspring. He's got to run out of sweepers at some point. And we still have plenty of value, even with our most important cards gone. So we should be fine. He's running out of gas. But we do have to ride this to victory, because we can't risk going super wide and him having another sweeper. So we just have to get the most bang for our buck out of our current board state as possible, and hold off on playing more stuff until after he potentially sweeps. Another Pawpatch Recruit. That makes me really tempted to just go a little bit deeper. Screw it, I'm going for it. We only need like the one Gearhulk and a Pawpatch Recruit to recover from a sweeper, right? Like, even if he does end up drawing into a third sweeper, he's not going to have a fourth. He's not going to be that lucky to top deck a fourth right away. So we could do 8 next turn and get him down to 5. That's fine. That's fine. Who needs basics anyway? Not nobody. Not know-how. We just have overwhelming value. We just never run out of cards. Even with our Mockingbirds and our Gearhulks gone. It's just crazy. Alright, he's going to find his sweeper. Clearly. And have enough mana left to play it. And then probably exile our Transit Mages. I don't think he'll go for Pawpatch Recruit since 3 of our 4th are gone. And I don't think he suspects that we have the 4th in our hand. So he'll probably get rid of the Transit Mages. If I had to guess. Alright. Swinging in. I don't know why he wouldn't have just played the sweeper, though. End the turn. Unless it wasn't a sweeper that he found and instead it was a doppelgang. But even then... Oh, it's an outrageous robbery. With X equals 4? I mean, I guess that's fine. He got rid of all our good stuff. So what could we possibly give him that's valuable to him, you know? Not much, I don't think. Excuse me. My doggos are kicking up my allergies. Archive. Glyphbridge. Do we Riptide Gearhulk? To just get rid of his blocker? I think we do. I think we do. And then we swing for 8. And then we force him to have to sweep next turn. And then when he sweeps, we can recover with double Pawpatch Recruit and another body. 2, 3, 4. Still gives... This is 5 damage potential right here. Just gonna draw into his sweeper, I assume. He still has... is it 2 gone? Yeah. And that's probably the only sweeper he's playing with. If I had to guess. What you got for me? Island? Hello? Hello, sir. I'm guessing he didn't find his sweeper. Now he's trying to figure out how to survive. Because we get 4 +1/+1 counters on whatever creature we want if he targets our stuff. Which is kind of bananas. We'd probably put them on the Transit Mage. That way, if he tries to kill the big thing with all the counters, we get to keep all of our things that just give us more counters. So we don't pile them up on one of the Pawpatch Recruits. We definitely don't pile them up on the Gearhulk, because that probably has the biggest target on its back. A Transit Mage. I guess we just attack. And we hold up the Shard Mage's Rescue. And we see what the heck he's holding on to in his hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think he wants us to get really greedy. If we play the Shard Mage's Rescue right now, we would have lethal. But he's holding up 3 mana. I'm pretty sure he's going to respond to the Shard Mage's Rescue with removal so that he survives. And if that's the case, I'd rather just keep the Shard Mage's Rescue for another time. Actually, if he responded with removal, we would have just gotten 4 counters, right? Yeah. I should have just played it. Because even if he responds, we still win. Oopsie. Little bit of a punt there, but I think we'll recover and take the game next turn. But we just got so ahead on value long before he was able to exile our Mockingbirds and Gearhulks, so that it didn't even matter when he exiled them. Glyphbridge. Choose a creature with power 2 or less. So this isn't going to do anything, is it? It doesn't target either, which is such a bummer. I should have just went for it last turn. He took our own sweeper and used it against us. Maybe I should have surveilled it away for that very reason. But I didn't expect a second outrageous robbery. He'll have another piece of removal that he'll hit it in response, but we still have to get through his removal. So we gotta do what we gotta do. It's the last hurrah. At this point, if he's holding out hope with another sweeper, he's just gonna win. We have to hope he didn't find the other sweeper. He used the Glyphbridge out of desperation. And we have nothing left in the deck to find with the Transit Mage, unfortunately. Maybe we should have a 7th card we can search up with the Transit Mage. I don't think it's going to come up very often. Just having the 3 bodies out, though, is really good for finishing the game. He wants to kill this. We have to put all of the counters on the Pawpatch Recruit so that when he targets the Pawpatch Recruit, we then get to put a counter on the Transit Mage and we can still swing in for 3. He's got 2 cards left in his hand. He could craft with Artifact, but he doesn't have the white mana. Oh, he does because of the cornucopias. /5/3 flyer. It would protect him. Does he see it? No, he's going to sack it to a Dusk Rose Reliquary. Interesting. He has to hit the 3/3. So our Transit Mage becomes a 3/3. We're so close, but we keep... Every time we take a step forward, we take a step back. He just won't let us finish. He is running out of gas, though. Let's try swinging. Alright, he's gonna tear. $17.32. He's got a lot of cards left in his deck. And the turn. I think he's got us. I think we are just out of gas. But honestly, it's super impressive that we were able to do as much as we did do, considering how many sweepers he had and all of the cards that he exiled out of our deck. He took away, like, the most important cards in the deck. And we were still just constantly spitting out overwhelming value that we dragged the game on for so long. Like, it was super, super close. Even after everything he did. Which, I mean, you're not going to win them all. There's no such thing as a deck that's always going to win. But if the games that you lose look like this, then you're doing something right. He's out of gas, though. What did he find with that Pillage the Bog? Five, six, seven? 7 mana. Hello, it is your go. Hello, it is your go. I'm so confused. I guess we just win? Thanks so much for checking out my channel. I'd like to give a huge shout out to all of my patrons over at Patreon. Without you guys, this channel would not be possible, so honestly, thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of your contributions. If you haven't yet, like and subscribe. The more likes we get and the quicker we get them, the bigger this channel will grow and the faster it will grow. I'd love nothing more than this channel to become something very special for you guys, but it's entirely up to you how fast that happens. Also, if you'd like more deck text, that's somewhere over there. And if you'd like to see what else the channel's been up to lately, that's somewhere up that way. Also, subscribe, circle below, do all the things.